Hey, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Cindy Baker here. I am the creator of the 3P Power program, which is an awesome group coaching program if you have ADHD symptoms. And I coach people who have ADHD symptoms to become positive, prepared, and productive. That's what the 3Ps stand for. So, if you are watching this live, please say hi. Let me know. We're going to talk tonight about ADHD and distractions. So, even if you don't have ADHD, you probably get distracted sometimes, right? So, that's what we're going to talk about. So, let me know if you're watching live, say hi, interact, write something in the comments, give me some fire emojis. Let me know that you're here. Just say hi. In fact, let us know where you're from, whichever platform you are watching this on. I am checking the comments live here in the Facebook group. But let's go ahead and get started. And if you're watching the replay, let me know that as well. I live in a suburb of Memphis, Tennessee, and spring has definitely sprung here. The weather, it's kind of back and forth, but today was beautiful, and birds are out like crazy. The flowers are blooming, and then there's those. I got both of my dogs here, so we'll see how they react. Squirrels. Yeah, they're one of them's going down to get the squirrel. Anyway, um, it's a joke that we keep saying we have squirrel brain because of the Disney movie Up, where the dog, was engaged, and then squirrel, he would turn, and he was just so distracted every time he saw a squirrel. And it's funny because we can relate to it. It's distractions. And I don't know about you, but this time of year, my my ADHD kicks into overdrive. There's a lot of extra things going on in my schedule. In fact, I am still a full time teacher as well as a coach. I think I'm probably going to teach one more year and then retire and build the coaching program up more so I can reach more people. But right now, if you're a teacher, you know what I mean. We just finished state testing. We've got field day and all these things coming up, and trying to finish out the quarter. And of course, the kids have spring fever, so there's a lot of things to distract me right now. And some of it's just that I want to be outside. But ADHD and distractions, they kind of go together. And I don't like the term that I don't like the attention deficit in the label, because we don't have a deficit of attention. We can pay attention. In fact, if there's something that we are very interested in, we can just lose ourselves in that activity and block out everything else. And we call that hyper focus. So you know what I'm talking about. We can focus. It's just a matter of focusing on the right things at the right time. And really, what ADHD is a deficit of brain stimulation. It's all about the neurotransmitters in our brain. So, little science, there's an executive function capacity in your brain in the prefrontal cortex. And that helps you do things like focus and planning, organizing, initiating tasks, and following through. All things that people with ADHD struggle with. So our brain it's always on the lookout for something stimulating, like something more stimulating than what we're doing at the moment. In other words, we hate to be bored. you know, uh, we don't like to tune in to the same thing for any length of time. My husband, it drives him nuts because we'll start to watch a movie on TV, and if it doesn't capture my attention right off the bat, then I'm bored and I want to switch channels. And he's like, well, it just started. I said, well, I'm already bored, you know, because our brains are attracted to novelty, new things, sound, movement, physical sensations, ideas, thoughts, and that shows up as distraction. Uh, Yesterday at church, um, I'm listening to the sermon and I'm trying to pay attention, and there's this guy, and bless his heart, I mean, this is just how he liked to listen to the sermon, but he was kind of quietly saying things like, that's right. Amen. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm not real loud, but I couldn't, every time he said that, my brain went from focusing here to focusing on the sound. And then I had to redirect and focus back. Do you know what I mean? I actually got up and went to a different seat so I could sit by myself because I get distracted so easily. So, can any of you relate to this? Where do you struggle with distractions the most? I'm just curious. And if you're watching live, say hi. Hi, Sandra, one of my 3P Power peeps. If you're watching the replay, let me know in the replay as well. And I may make this a two-part series. We'll kind of see how the timing goes. But I mean, this is going to come to no shock to you, but technology is a huge distraction. And the internet, you've heard of the Google rabbit hole, but the internet is like, I've heard another ADHD coach said that it's like a disco ball, Disneyland, Northern Lights, and a pinball machine all rolled into one. And that's it. You got one flashing image on a web page and a ding of an incoming email message that gets our attention, and a text, and one link leads to the next. You've got social media posts, and you got people dancing on TikTok, and people's cute pictures on Instagram, and it keeps you scrolling, and they'll show you one reel and then you want to watch the next one because it looks cute, and then you've got these games and they challenge you to beat the next level, and every next new thing keeps us hyper focused and distracted at the same time. So it's kind of a spiral of ADHD troubles. And being distracted causes a lot of problems for people with ADHD. It causes problems at work because projects take too long to finish and you miss deadlines. Priorities are neglected. It causes problems at home because people, you got to work late to catch up. You lose things when your attention gets pulled off task to something else, like your keys, your wallet, your glasses, whatever. You forget things. You got clutter, and your attention gets sidetracked because you don't finish what you're doing. So you leave this trail of unfinished things like unopened mail or random papers, piles of paper, stuff like that. And it's even hard to pay attention when you're reading. Maybe you find yourself reading the same line or the same paragraph over and over, and you don't get enough sleep, possibly because you have to get things done in the middle of the night when everything's quiet, and that's when you can finally focus. And that's why there's a lot of people who are in school, whether it be college or graduate school or whatever, and they like to get up in the middle of the night and study. Maybe your relationships suffer because you can't stay focused on conversations. I know for me, if I go to a social gathering, and someone wants to talk to me face to face, I'm so distracted by all of the external uh, conversations going on and people walking past. And I really have trouble focusing sometimes on the person right in front of me. Um, Sometimes just your internal dialogue in your head is distracting. Um, and back to the social thing, it's kind of like we do the fake listening. You pretend to pay attention when you're really not. Um, but people catch on, and you miss out on stuff, and it hurts people's feelings sometimes because they think you don't care, and you try to cue in, but you've got to learn how to take control of the power of your focus, and that's what I do. And as a coach, is I help people hack their brain's focus so that they can get more done, get the most important things done. In fact, I'm doing a free live webinar on that very topic Thursday night. Um, so in the Facebook group, I'll put the link in the comments there, and you can register for that. But you've got to learn how to be the boss of your focus, and it's not a quick and easy thing, really. But it's a key part of what I do in my coaching program is I help people uh, get back control of their own focus. So um, all right, so I'm going to give you a couple of tips, but I want to just kind of recap. Before I do that, let me see what you guys are saying. Hey, Kathy. Uh, yeah, if you have questions, just put them in the chat. And again, if you're watching this other places, just comment, let me know. So we've said, just to kind of recap, we've said that ADHD is a deficit of brain stimulation. So it's a neurotransmitter issue. It keeps you, neurotransmitters help you do things like focus and organize and follow through. And our brain is always on the lookout for stimulation. We hate to be bored. We hate to tune into the same thing for a long period of time. And we are attracted to things that are new, like novelty, sound, movement, new ideas, physical sensations. And all of that shows up as distraction. And a big distraction is technology. We talked about. We also talked about whether some of the problems that it causes, at work and your personal life, with the clutter and sleep and poor time management, things like that. So, I mean, basically, distractions keep us from living the life that we want. And so, um, if you have ADHD, getting distracted, it's not really about willpower. It's more of a brain issue. So, um, you know, I'm tempted to keep talking about school because I do teach, but those report cards a lot of times are wrong because it's not an issue of why don't you just try harder? It's not about trying harder. It's about getting smarter about controlling distractions. And so there's a few things that you can do to control those ADHD distractions. Um, the best thing you can do is learn to make friends with your brain. And again, that's what I do in my coaching is I help people really understand their ADHD so they can learn to work with it instead of fighting against it, trying to, beat it to death. um, and being distracted is going to get worse if you don't take good care of your brain. And so you got to help your brain. It's part of your physical body. You got to take care of it. You got to maintain an ADHD friendly diet, and you got to exercise, get moving, get enough sleep. um, reduce your stress, things like that. You can't neglect brain care if you want to live better with ADHD. Even if you're taking ADHD medicine, like one of the stimulants, um, that's not enough. It can only do so much. I always say pills are not skills. You know, you need skills. And um, so got to prioritize things like sleep, um, and figure out how you can rearrange your life so that you get the sleep and the exercise and the food that you need. So you got to pay attention to what helps you pay attention. In other words, um, another thing you can do is kind of do a study on your distraction, like write down each day for maybe a few days what distracts you and try to figure out what's at the root of that. The root cause is important because it kind of shifts you from being this helpless victim of ADHD to actively creating solutions. Um, so, for instance, at church, when that person was just saying too much out loud, I got up and moved. I did it discreetly, so nobody really knew why I was moving. But I needed to be around people who were not commenting out loud because it was distracting. Maybe you need to get up and close a door. Maybe you need to close a bunch of tabs or turn your phone off. Um, you know, uh, you have to do what you can to eliminate all the external things that can interrupt your focus. You don't have to be a victim of your phone. You know, you can turn your phone off. It's okay. You got to get clear on what exactly pulls you down that technology rabbit hole and learn um, to build some buffers, I guess is a good word. Um, you can put, what's it called? The focus mode. And you've got apps that you can put on your phone with where there's time limits and things like that. Just experiment with what works for you. Um, and you have to also realize that ADHD makes you inconsistent. And so what helps you focus one day may change a little bit another day. Because remember, we like new things. So you can't just have one thing you do. You've got to have a variety of tools and you've got to really understand what distracts you. That's the key. You're not going to ever stop all the distractibility 100%. So you got to focus more on just reducing it. So take care of your brain, become aware of what distracts you, and then change up your tools, um, change up your strategies. I actually have a live challenge coming up May 13th and 14th called the Chaos to Control Challenge. And I would encourage you to sign up for that. You'll see the link in the next few days, but go ahead and block off those dates now, um, and just keep learning about your ADHD. Um, Learn how to take care of your brain, and um, learn how to understand it. So there's a lot more I could say about that. And I know I sound like I'm always talking about my coaching, but I do go into that in detail in some of the training for my coaching group. And so I would encourage you to check that out if that's something you're interested in. And again, I do have a masterclass Thursday night, and I'll put the link in the chat. Sandra said, I love that pills are not skills. Yep. And I'm not saying you should or shouldn't take medicine. I'm just saying that if you do choose to, you can't just rely on medicine. You have to have a lifestyle changes as well. So, anyway, there's a lot more I could say about distractions, but I wanted to make this short, just kind of a highlight. And if you've got any questions, put those in the chat. And again, if you're watching the replay, say hashtag replay, let me know. And I hope that this was motivating for you on this Monday motivation, right? And I hope you have a great rest of your evening. Good to see everybody. Bye.